Creative Assembly has revealed the next Total War Saga. It's Troy, so the Trojan War, and we're gonna check the two videos they released. I'm excited for this one, so we're gonna be keeping an eye on it. We'll start with the trailer, the announced trailer.
Rage, goddess. Sing of the rage of Pel.
Before you guys say, it's like the old man from Warhammer. It's not. It's that master from Stark House from the Game of Thrones, with the voiceover. What's his name? Sorry guys for interrupting, but I'm pretty sure it's that guy. Master. Oh man, I forgot his character name. Who's voicing the narrator here? And there's so many actors. It was also in Chernobyl. What's his name is? The guy. He got killed by the Tian soldiers. Oh man, why is he not on the list of actors? This is now I have to really find him. Master Lewin, yeah. Yeah, it's this guy. This guy, I think, is the narrator for the Troy. It's his voice. Doesn't say yes. He was in Chernobyl too. This guy is the narrator here. Anyways, sorry for interrupting. Let's go.
Your son, Achilles. Murderous. Doomed.
The guy looks like a space marine, not really a Greek hero. Like he's voiced by the Thor actor.
The children of men, but as leaves that drop at the wind's breath.
So the way they are dressed and the way this looks, it looks more like Age of Mythology version of Greece than the historical version of Greece. But then again, the Trojan War is from the epic Iliad, and probably most of it's fantasy, anyways. How he calls Hector out, to come outside to duel him. It's, look like we might have duels. Not sure what to think about it, but heroes are definitely there. Achilles was not a general of the army. He was more like captain, the best in the army, where lead soldiers in battle, not really lead a whole army like Agamemnon or his brother. So it definitely looks like more like Age of Mythology, but we haven't seen any monsters yet or anything, so probably might not even be in the game. The second video shows the second video shows a little bit about the campaign map.
Peggy 16.
In this age of myth,
Does look a little bit like Warhammer,
walk the earth.
the campaign map.
Yet it takes only a single impulsive
Look at all this water. Look at all this water, and if they're using any new engine, I don't think there's gonna be naval battles. But all this water in Greece and non-naval battles, I'm afraid they might be using an old engine, or they maybe just did the naval battles. I mean, they could make the naval battles a tactical mini game, not even 3D but 2D, or they could just, you know, they just need to sync ramming animations. They need to sync boarding with bridges, and they need to do it on various ships on 4 to 6 different positions on the ship. And that's it. That's all you need for naval battles. But it seems to be very complicated to do, not worth the resource, it seems.
to spark a conflict that will shake the world. Audacious Paris, Prince of Troy, takes beautiful Helen from her palace in Sparta. As they sail away, Helen's husband, King Menelaus, curses her name. He will bring his errant wife home, whatever the cost. King Agamemnon, wide ruling lord of finely walled Mycenae, hears his brother's call. He summons Achaean heroes from far and wide. Among them, swift-footed Achilles and Odysseus of the silver tongue. All mortals' thoughts turn towards the high peak of fog-shrouded Olympus. Even warriors marching to war and slaughter must seek the favor of the gods. While Paris and Helen flee east to Troy, a formidable Achaean army musters in the west. As Hector greets Paris at the gates of Troy,
City
the wind
looks so tiny.
from the west raises the dust at his feet. He looks to his brother
Maybe it's tier 1.
and asks,
Maybe it's gonna expand like Rome 2 cities, sprawl over the map. But the campaign map does look pretty. Does look pretty for sure. So they released the frequently asked question for the Troy. A Total War Saga. Oh my god, what is this? What is this? Why is that thing so loud always? We get it, Saga. We get it. You exist. Don't be loud. So it says here, I'll just lower the volume here a bit so you can read it. A Total War Saga, Troy Total War Saga, Troy will reconstruct one of the greatest stories ever told, inspired by the Homer's Iliad. Troy will let you forge a heroic legacy in the late Bronze Age, the furthest back in the time the Total War franchise has ever traveled. Troy will challenge you to uncover the truth behind Homer's Iliad, an epic tale mixing legend with history. You will peel back to the layers of fable, of gods and monsters, to reveal the truths that might have inspired them. In Troy, the fate of Aegean civilization will be in your hands. Each choice you make will shape the lands from mythical heights of Mount Olympus to the arid deserts of Lemnos. Experience history as it might have happened, or shape the legend for yourself in this unique chapter of Total War. Battlefields will tremble under the feet of renowned warriors like Achilles and Hector, but it will take more than brute force alone to lay claim to the legendary city of Troy. You will need to deftly manage a barter economy. Barter economy? Huh. Conduct diplomacy among friends and foes, and direct the beliefs of your people in the worship of the gods, all before etching your name in the annals of history. So this is almost kind of like you get like a hint When will a Total War Saga Troy be released? A Total War Saga Troy will be released on Steam in 2020. It doesn't look like it's gonna be in the first 3 months. And if Troy has just been announced for 2020 and not even a set month, this feels like Warhammer 3 will not come until 2021, or at least late 2020. That is bonkers, considering Warhammer 2 is already 2 years old. What is a Total War Saga title? Total War Saga titles take the grand strategy and real-time battles of a core Total War game and channel them into an intense flashpoint of history, letting you experience and ultimately determine the outcome of pivotal moments in history when the future of entire nations hung in the balance. Having all the depth, features, and mechanics of a major era Total War game, Legend of Total War would disagree. Total War Saga titles offer a comparable number of factions, heroes, and settlements of their core counterparts, as well as hundreds of hours of gameplay potential. Hundreds of hours. How many hours did they get from Thrones of Britannia? Lies. 98 hours. That's still good for a campaign or two. Okay. Total War Saga titles are our chance to think differently in our designs, often leading to new ideas, mechanics, and perspectives that go on to influence future era titles. I do hope they use the general unit thing they used in Thrones of Britannia, that the general can die unless the unit is dropped to low health. So this is the third Total War Saga game. The first one was made Saga, you know, far after it was released, was the Total War Saga Fall of the Samurai. That one was made a Saga game. You might not have it in the library as a Saga game if you bought it as a DLC for Shogun 2. That was the first Saga made, turned into a second Saga game after the first Saga was released, which was Thrones of Britannia. And this is the third Total War Saga title, Troy. So it basically takes not really a big part of the world, but you know, focus on one conflict and just broadens the scale, make it look much bigger. So province of Greece in Rome 2 might be 3 regions in the actual Greece, then part of Macedonia, another couple of regions, and then the coast of Turkey, a couple more regions. You have roads as well. So this might be, you know, Greece like just 3 or 4 provinces, while in this one, the Greece might be made into many smaller provinces, and there are gonna be systems just for that conflict made specifically. Why did you choose Troy? Troy is a totally new period of Total War, and is the first back we ever gone in history. Like our major era Total War games, our Total War Saga titles tend to focus on key flashpoints in history, often within a singular culture. When the 20-year war, Trojan War is the perfect fit. This period is also one of the most distinguished and mysterious within human history due to it being rich in myth and legend of heroes and monsters, allowing us to explore a plethora of new ideas for our fans to experience. This is where basically it all becomes, you know, the hero term. It comes from this period pretty much, where they have exceptional individuals, you know, that carry a lot. Okay, let's see what they say about the research. How did you go about your research this period? Given that the Trojan War period is steeped in mystery, we took a unique approach to our research methodologies, using both mythological after-period sources such as Homer's Iliad, as well as primary historical sources such as archaeological recordings. This merging of source material not only gives us a more accurate representation of what the period most likely resembled, but also provided us with our core truth behind the mid-design pillar. So it sounds to me like they're gonna have a lot of freedom to do the things how they want it, and not just limited from the historical perspective. Okay, why did you decide upon the truth behind the myth approach? The events surrounding the Trojan War are steeped in legend with tales of mythological creatures, superhuman heroes, and the intervention of gods, all vibrant within this cataclysmic conflict. However, little is precisely known about the real-world events that occurred during the late Bronze Age, with many of its kings, queens, and artifacts lost to the annals of history. As a result, examining the truth behind the myth of Homer's Iliad has become a key design pillar for Total War Saga Troy, as we ask the player to explore the truths that might have inspired this most cherished era. So to me, it sounds like we're going to get more like Clash of the Titan version of Troy than actual Troy version of Troy, comparing it to the movies. What role do the gods play? Gods and Favor is the new gameplay system for Total War Saga Troy, similar to our truth behind the myth approach to mythical creatures. The Greek gods within Troy are a purely spiritual representation, but they influence the game in similar ways to their Homeric counterparts. Rather than the gods directly intervening with the conflict itself, it is the faction belief that the gods are intervening on their behalf. Just a moment. Which determines the bonuses they receive. After all, the more fervently a leader devotes themselves to a deity, the more likely that people are to espouse and live those beliefs. Those bonuses are specific to each god and provide a range of benefits from strategic warfare buffs to growth and resource increases. So this sounds like a fun system. Will there be any mythical creatures? Our truth behind the myth approach has allowed us to draw from a multitude of mythology's most renowned monsters and include them within the battlefields of Troy as realistic representations of what their true form may have been. This approach has allowed us to expand the unit diversity by including unique warriors to the roster, whilst adding an extra layer of tactical versatility to the conflict. Okay. Oh man, it sounds to me like, there's gonna be like, 50 Shades of Dragons from Three Kingdoms. They're gonna be like, units will have the monster names, just gonna have different stats. One second. How is the battle different in Troy? There is a strong infantry versus infantry focus in Troy's combat to reflect the realities of the age. Basically, the usual ancient Greece spear grinders. They could be just grinding each other for days without any casualties. But we're not gonna have SFO slow battles. I do hope it's gonna be slower than the historical Total Wars. Man, after seeing Warhammer 2 changes in the battle duration after Warhammer 1, when historical Total War battles look worse and worse without the mods. With greater variances in speed and mass between light, medium and heavy infantry classes. Fighting will be dynamic and tactically rich. ... Oh boy, tactically rich. CA, you're not allowed to use these words. With your so far reputation, how you build historical battles, shitty, fast, mods have to come to rescue each time. Do not use tactically rich. They are not tactically rich. It's the style mods to be tactically half rich. You just go Total War blog. One moment. Yeah, will the link work? It'll work. When I see these light, medium, and heavy infantry classes, the period is pretty basic. Mainly spears. There's some skirmishers, some cavalry, not much, not many horses. So might be like 7-8 unit types. 7 or 8 unit types. Hopefully, the battles are gonna have a good duration. Just battles lasting longer is all very good for replay value. It's like fast battles, click, 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 deal damage, win. It's boring. That's how it looks in Three Kingdoms. Many new active and passive abilities fuel this dynamism. So elite defensive warriors may be immune to flanking, for example, while elite assault troops may be expert flankers, increasing the negative effects of flanking on the units they outflank. Horses were scarce and rarely used in conflict of this age. Those that were pressed into service were generally used to hold chariots. Consequently, battles in Troy will require new subtle and not so subtle masters of battle of tactics. Yeah, there were only very limited war horses in this period, so they mainly dragged the chariots and the supplies. Ooh, there definitely lists a lot of information. Which famous heroes will feature in a Total War Saga Troy? The Iliad career features a multitude of history's most iconic legendary heroes, which stories of their feats still regularly told centuries after their demise. As a result, we've included 8 of the most prominent champions from both sides of the conflict. What, 8 total or 8 from each side? Such as the Greek champion Achilles and the Prince of Troy himself, Hector. Okay. Oh boy, here we go. Will there be any dueling mechanics like in Total War Three Kingdoms? A Total War Saga Troy has its own unique take on hero versus hero combat, which ensures that these colossal face-offs are worthy of the Olympian gods. New challenge ability taunts opposing characters into one-on-one combat, creating a circular battle area around them that prevents other units from intervening. Heroes engaged thus will fight using a series of spectacular matched animations. However, the mechanics are more freeform than Three Kingdoms lock-in duel mechanics, so heroes can be directed away from a challenge without penalty after challenge effects is worn off. Well, definitely sounds interesting. It says 8 of the most prominent champions from both sides of the conflict. So it might be 4 from each side. This is not very clear to me. Eight of the most prominent champions from both sides of the conflict. It could have been 50-50. What role will diplomacy play? As with all other Total War games, diplomacy will play a key part in the Total War Saga Troy. Taking inspiration from Total War Three Kingdoms, Troy allows you to keep your allies sweet, your enemies in their place, and change the entire course of the Trojan War should you choose to. We'll also be introducing new features which are unique to Troy. Watch this space for more information as we release it. How will the economy work in Troy? Total War Saga Troy introduces a completely new multiple resource economy which reflects the Bronze Age setting. This economic system is Total War first and reflects the advancing pre-monetary and barter economy which was galvanized due to the growing influence of trade and international relations within the region. The 5 different resources that are the building blocks of your empire are food, wood, stone, bronze and gold. All of which can be found within different regions to varying degrees of scarcity. Food and wood are used to recruit early game units and construct simple buildings. Oh, you use resources to build stuff? Oh, that sounds cool. But as the campaign progresses, more formidable structures will require stone and higher tier units will require bronze. Gold is the master resource and is vital for trade due to its universal rarity. Oh, this with resources sounds cool. Well, I guess they are talking about the city-state system on Steinberg. Will there be naval battles? There is little documentation of Trojan naval warfare, but we know how important it is to our players. As a result, we have used Total War Warhammer 2 Curse of the Vampire Coast as our main inspiration for naval combat in Troy. When 2 fleets clash at sea, they will disembark on a nearby island and settle the score in a land battle. As seen above, armies dedicated in Poseidon Pharaoh will receive appropriate bonuses. That's good, that's good. Like that. Like that. At least we have eliminated auto-resolve from naval battles. What can you tell us about a Total War Troy's visual style? With stunning visuals and a romanticized art style, Troy embodies an age of legend. You'll see this echoed throughout the campaign over your user interface, which blends the Hellenic artistry of the Iliad with a real-world representation of the Bronze Age Mediterranean. It sounds cool, boys. Sounds cool. Definitely more excited about this than Total War Saga Transbritannia. It's coming next year, boys, and we'll be definitely checking this one out.